Let me unmute us. There we go. It's always good to unmute that mic.
Hello.
Hi, guys. We're so glad to be here with you today. Here, let's turn ourselves down.
Yes.
Today is the live show, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We have some amazing topics, the most important of which is helping you identify if these are your feelings or someone else's, right? Out of all the questions we get, when we have new members coming into the Connected Empath Facebook group, we ask a few questions because we want to know the burning topics at top of mind for you, the empath. One of the number one issues that we see and hear is you wondering, is what I'm feeling mine
or somebody else's?
And it can get heavy. We're so glad that you're here. Give us a little shout out. Let us know where you're joining us from. It's always fun.
Hi, Hall. Hi, Belinda.
Minnesota.
Bev, Darice, Terry. You moved it.
Deborah, June.
Hi,
Holly,
Jeannie.
Terry, Cecilia.
Hello.
We're so glad to be here with you today. It's going to be a fantastic topic, like I just said. But then what topic isn't fantastic?
Every topic is fantastic.
Right, when it comes to helping you, the empath, get a better grip on your power, get rid of the things that are weighing you down so that you can show up in the world every day in a way that feels good to you, helping you align deeper and deeper to your true self. Tiff and I, as you know, or maybe don't know, we are the founders and creators of the Empath Rise and Thrive group coaching and spiritual healing program designed to specifically help empaths align with your true self.
Yeah.
And manage that beautiful energy of yours. Yeah. Today's topic is around energy management, right? Because if you're constantly being bombarded by all these feelings and you're trying to sort it out, it becomes an energy issue. It becomes an overwhelm and drain issue.
Yep.
But before we do that, Tiff and I do have a fun little thing that we do on our podcast. We're recording this for our podcast. So hello, podcast listeners, where we answer a question or a few questions from our Table Topics Do-It-Yourself Therapy box.
Yep.
Why don't you show them? Do you have the box? This is what it looks like. Table Topics. That's what it sounds like.
We know these questions very well.
We do.
Well, maybe we don't. Every now and then.
We get one that we haven't answered.
Yeah. Hey, Dave from Scotland. Hello, hello. So glad you're here with us.
Annie, glad you're here. Holly, hi, Holly. So good. Dave, Patricia.
We have a couple Facebook users. We can't see your name, but one's from Calgary and the other's from Texas.
Yeah.
There is a little button for you to hit
to give permission to StreamYard.
Yeah.
And that allows us to see your name on this other end, on the inside. And if you feel comfortable doing that, we invite you to do that. Then we know who you are when you're making comments. We appreciate your comments. This is a very interactive event. When we do our live show, the part of the reason we do this is so we can see you. We can engage with you as we're teaching, as we go through the teaching today. If you have any questions or you have an aha, throw it in the thread so that we can all hear it, see it. If you have a question about something that we're talking about, ask. And we'll make sure and get you answered, okay? The option is typically at the very top. I know that I have to check something on my side of things to make sure you see that. If you don't, I apologize. Next time I'll make sure it's there. I don't know if I checked the correct box myself. We got to make sure we check the right boxes so we do everything just right. Pauline, Kathy, Corey.
Mandy, hello.
It's going to be a great session today.
Yes.
So let's do the table topics. Is it your turn, I believe, to answer?
Yes, but so the reason we do these table topics is to give you the opportunity to write these questions down so that you can ask the people that you're getting to know or the people that you love just to get to know them better, because that is what we love as empaths, is connection. And questions are the best way to get connection. And
don't look.
I wasn't. I was.
It's a secret. She was trying to cheat. She's trying to come up with her answer before I ask her.
I am not a cheater.
Were you going to say something before I asked you the question?
Yes, but it just like jumped out of my head. How many of you have that happen where you just like talking and all of a sudden, boop, it's gone? Must have been a lie.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. The first
question.
question. Tiffany, What are you a control freak about?
Oh, goodness. Now, I want everyone, if you're willing, to answer the question here in the Strand so we can get to know you just a little bit better. So the thing I'm the control freak about, probably my cooking.
Okay, share a little bit more. Like, how are you control freak about your cooking?
It has to be perfect. This is the place where I think I'm the most controlling, and I'm a perfectionist. I mean, I've got to have some place in my life where I'm just get super, super sassy. And it's definitely my cooking. If it doesn't taste or look, are you laughing?
On the podcast, people can't see. But on the live show, you can.
Okay.
Doing dishes properly, says Annie.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Me too, man. I was all about that. In fact, I would load up the dishwasher. If anyone came and loaded of their own free will and choice into the dishwasher, I would move the dishes around so it felt more like.
That's true.
That's when Tiff and I split up the jobs, and that was no longer. She's like, if you're going to move the dishes around, I'm done. I'm not loading the dishwasher anymore. I'm like, okay, good. That works for me.
If my food doesn't look or taste the way I want it to, it usually goes right into the trash.
Yes, and unless I intercept it. Because she has a very high standard, and I guess my standard's not quite as high. And so if I can feel that she's having issues with something she made and I taste it and it's good, I commandeer the dish and make sure she can't throw it away.
Yeah, if I'm entertaining and it does not taste exactly what I'm intending, garbage.
Right.
Yeah.
So true.
About my pets, cleaning the kitchen, dishwasher, folding towels. Oh, I would have to say I'm the same. Whenever Jack folds the towels, I'm like, no, I'll do it.
Oh, June, staging and designing events for clients. It has to be perfect.
Ooh, nice.
Keeping my house clean. My cookies have to be and look perfect.
Isn't that funny? We're all funny creatures.
Staging, it just gives us this little bit of certainty and control. Feels so good.
Yeah, because we live in a world that's totally out of control.
Mandy, all cleaning. Trish, oh God, yes, the towels, yes. I sit and I'll start folding towels. Tiff's like, could you pass those towels over to me because yours are really messy. I'm like, sure, babe, here you go.
And are my towels not perfect?
Perfect.
Yes.
They are so perfect.
Ooh, it just gives me such a good feeling.
Pauline is also intercepting her spouse on the way to the garbage. Imperfect baked goods.
Yeah, I have my taster goes in and out like weirdness. I have this weird thing, and it's because I'm an empath. So sometimes I taste deeper than other times, and if it doesn't taste like the idea that I have, that's when I usually throw it out. And my kids or Jack, they're like, "What are you doing? It's great." And then I'll taste it later and think, "This is amazing. What was I thinking?" You have saved many dishes.
I have.
From going to the garbage.
Holly does the same with all of those things, plus the watering of her plants. They have to be watered at a specific time.
Well, that's because Holly is a garden witch.
You
have you seen her yard? Oh my gosh. If you want to see amazing flowers and amazing things, go to Holly Anderson's Facebook page and see her pictures.
Beautiful. Belinda says, sheets are not in my OCD radar. Mine either.
Oh my!
I hate folding sheets.
You're a true witch if you can fold a sheet. That's what I read on a meme one day.
I don't even aspire to that. Holly says plants are my life. Yeah, there are some very deep connections.
Sweet. I love that.
Very deep connections. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready for the next one.
Okay. Do you do a good job seizing the day?
And
all of you?
Yeah. Do you feel like you do a good job seizing the day, and how do you do that? And I think I am a mastress seizer. Truly. Whether I'm seizing a day off and I lay in my bed, I seize it.
Oh, you seize the day. You seize everything.
I seized you.
You are the Caesar Milan of all things life. Okay, so Dave said I get uncomfortable with mismatched pegs on the washing line, right? It's like the little things that can make such a big difference.
That's awesome.
Trish says I can fold a fitted sheet like a pro. Wow, you and Tiff should go head to head. Mandy Parsons, not at all. Corey, I need to work on that. June, occasionally.
Okay. Seizing the day.
Yeah, that is a really important thing, is being present and really getting in touch with. That's something I'm working on privately right now in my life.
What?
Seizing the moment, being really present with the moment and not constantly feeling like, that's okay, you can put your arm back, not feeling like I have to do 5 things at once. Like typically my MO is that while I'm doing one thing in my mind is the next thing that needs to be done. And it's a shitty way to live. So
there you have it.
I'm not telling you to do this because it's really awesome and it's going to up your feel-good quotient for the day. Nope, it doesn't.
I was just sitting here thinking, how do I seize the day? I just feel this movement in my body. I have so much energy when I wake up. I'm like, ooh, what am I going to do? And sometimes I'm dragging a little bit, depending on where I am in my own body rhythms and things like that. But I really do like to get up and have the best experience I can in whatever it is that I'm doing. And this is a great question to ask the people that you love, because you really can get to know them better about how they see themselves. And then you can think about, how do I see them? I always feel like you seize the day.
Well,
Maybe
I guess
not
I need to
every
explain
moment.
what is seizing the day, I guess, because, oh, okay, I was thinking of seizing the moment, but this
Yeah.
is about, I seize the day
Yeah, you do every day.
like nobody's business.
That you just miss some moments to seize. Should we go into detail? No.
No, probably not. So, yeah, that's true. So seizing the day, you know what? I would say that in my guess that many empaths maybe don't feel like they seize the day because they're more in flow. Because everyone's saying, I just kind of float around, being retired and a stay-at-home mom. I'm really trying to motivate myself, but I struggle.
Well, and let's talk about seizing the day. Seizing the day doesn't mean like doing something like changing the world every second of every day. Like sometimes you seize the day when you're like doing your self-care. And it's really, to me, what seizing the day is taking the moment that you're given and making the best out of that moment, really appreciating it and being present within it. That's what that means to me. So I guess you have to ask yourself, what does seizing the day mean to you?
Yeah, that is always the question.
And then you answer the question.
Yeah, as a real little side note, in any relationship, whether it's an intimate other or just some other person that you're in relationship, never assume you know what the meaning is, right? So seizing the day to you and seizing the day to them, get to the bottom of that. That's an even deeper conversation. And I know you love deep conversations because you're an empath.
Yeah.
So that's a great opportunity to go deeper with everyone, is get clarity. Clarify, please. When you say seizing the day, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to me? And then have a conversation around it.
So there you have it, my friends. There's the 2 questions you can ask the people that you love just to get to know them better. So before we get started in the lesson, I wanted to ask you, it's Father's Day in the next few days. And I was wondering, like, are you excited for it?
Yeah. I'm excited for all the good food and the family gathering and the family games, and that we get to celebrate our grandchild's birthday on the same day. And I'm looking forward to the festivities, and I love being a dad, you know, someone that's only been an official dad out in the public's eye before being born Susan, being a trans man, and having just transitioned my gender 6 years ago. Being a dad is a new thing for this 52-year-old man. And I love being a dad. It actually feels more aligned to me than being the mom that I was for a good many of years. I
came and rescued you from the mom role.
You did.
Because I am such a mom.
I seized the role. But,
yeah,
you know, it feels so good. I feel very natural in this position of being the go-to guy when one of the kids is having an issue and they just need some clarity and someone to talk to and someone to reassure them that everything's okay. I love that.
Are you glad you don't have to make food?
Oh my God. Yes, I'm so glad that you are the food maker and that you're the soft, loving hugger mom that just makes everything better with a really good, delicious, tasty meal and some serious love and some serious affection.
Pinches.
Yeah.
And I have to, since this is sitting right here. So our granddaughter Ember is here's her one of her presents from us. And I got all these really cute, what is this?
Unicorn.
Unicorn unicorn wrapping paper. Look how cute. Is that not the cutest thing? Can you see the unicorn on there? The flying unicorn. So it's going to be a lot of fun festivities for us this weekend with the birthday and Father's Day. And I just wanted to publicly thank you for being such an amazing father to our 6, well, actually more than 6, because many of our children have their person. So our 10 amazing kids.
It's an honor. It really is. And I'm not going to think about it too much because then I'd cry. Because when I think about love, it makes me cry.
Uh-oh, it's happening.
I'm not going to. I'm not crying right now. I have eyeballs of steel.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, you'll be able to see our pictures on all the festivities this weekend on Facebook. So I hope you enjoy them with us. Wish you could all be here. Okay, we've got to get into the nitty-gritty of things. There is one question I wanted to answer publicly that I got that was such a great question on the Connected Empath. So if you are watching and you're not watching on the Connected Empath, this live show, get into the Connected Empath. It's a great place of support, answers to your questions. I answer as many questions as I can.
It's our Facebook group.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
If you're calling in from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Connected Empath Facebook group.
Yep.
Come find us and we'll snuggle you up.
Okay, so the question, Debbie Vigil asked the question today, can a narcissist feel grief? Great question, right?
Yeah, that is such a good question,
And
Debbie.
my answer is absolutely, but not about someone else. The grief is about them not getting their way or not getting things the way that they want it, so they grieve that process, and it typically comes out in anger or aggression or more controlling behavior, manipulation, but they absolutely grieve. But it's typically more times than not grieving about them not getting their way, because that's what their purpose is to get things their way for themselves. So yes, they can absolutely grieve. And another aspect of it is that sometimes they'll act like they're grieving for you or be empathetic with you. It is a ruse. That's the right word, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It is all about manipulation. So they'll do whatever it takes to get what it is that they want, and they can fake it, and it looks pretty real. They're masters at fooling you. So there is that answer to that
That's
question.
great. Great question.
Okay. Okay, let's dive in. How many of you have felt like you yourself have felt someone else's emotions or feelings inside your body as though they were your own? Please answer here if you've had that experience. If everyone on this live today is an empath, I'm guessing you'll probably say yes, 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 yes. How many of you have felt that feeling, that you're feeling someone else's feelings inside your body like your own?
All the time, Trish said.
Yep. All the time, all the time.
All the time, all the time, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, mostly sorrow. Mm-hmm. So many times I cannot count. Absolutely. Yep. Yes, 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 ma'am. Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right?
Deborah.
Okay, now what I'd like to know from all of you is, what is the emotion, the feeling that you find that you feel from other people the most? You'll have to think about it for a minute. What do you feel the most from other people? What do you feel like you absorb the most? What emotion? Do you feel like you absorb emotions of other people in your body like they're your own?
Nope, I don't. I'm very aware. I'm very sensitive to them, but they do not feel like they become mine. And I'm a highly sensitive person, not an empath.
Okay.
Sadness, sorrow, anxiousness, anger, sadness and depression. If someone's upset, sadness.
Okay.
Pain, anger.
Okay.
Stress.
Okay.
Grief.
Okay.
Disappointment, discomfort. God, I love being able to get your answers. It's so awesome. Anger, frustration, fear, sorrow.
Okay.
Another sorrow, but I can tell the difference between them feeling sad and me feeling sad for them.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety.
Okay. So let's talk about this, shall we? Thank you so much for sharing the emotion that you feel the most. There's some really important things that I need to teach you today that are going to help you be more empowered with this. This is probably one of the biggest bummers that we feel. And so I'm going to get real with you on this because I know it will help you. It may make you feel a little uncomfortable, but that's okay because that's how we grow, right? And I am a coach and a teacher, so that's my job, is to help you kind of see things you may not be seeing. So one of the things that you have to be aware of is that you will typically absorb energy with the very thing you yourself struggle with. So say it's sadness, okay? I want you to kind of take a look at what you wrote on here, and I want you to ask yourself the question, do I feel sadness in my own life about some things? And I mean, we all have our stuff, right? Typically, you will absorb from other people the thing that you yourself struggle with. And so I'm trying to think of one of the things that I absorb from people on occasion. I've gotten really good at not absorbing, but on occasion it still gets through. And so I'm just trying to think of one of those things so I can share a little story about what happens with me.
What about anger?
I don't feel like I absorb anger too much from other people. Probably drain. So if someone's really drained, I can pick that drain up like really fast. And I'm a person that gets pretty drained if I'm not really watchful with my energy because I do so many things in a day. Okay.
So questions are coming in.
Oh, good.
So
good.
like a mirror?
Yes. So this is one thing that people don't typically talk about with empaths, is that it's much easier to absorb the thing from the other person that you yourself experience often. And it's the law of attraction. So it's like if you're someone that is like really stressed about, or gets really stressed easy, or absorbs other people's stress, or if you have depression in your life, you'll tend to pick up other people's depression. It's kind of like a magnet going like this.
Annie says, is that because we're already tuned to that emotion?
Exactly. That's what it is.
And then Elizabeth, hello, disappointment.
Right? So Elizabeth, right? If you absorb other people's disappointment, I bet you have some pretty intense things in your life that have really let you down, right? And so these are things to be aware of. Now, here's the other thing to think about with this. If you say really struggle with absorbing other people's like depression, you can also very, very easily project your depression on someone else when they may not be depressed. So these are things I really want you to think about, because this is where your inner work comes in. One thing I love about empaths is they're typically willing to do their inner work. And I just respect and honor that so much, because there's so many people that just are like, oh, I don't have an issue and I don't have any inner work. It's everyone else. And typically empaths are pretty responsible for themselves as long as they learn and they're like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. And that's what I'm doing for you today, is I'm introducing you to things that you may not have realized, that if you are struggling with certain emotion in your life, you can either absorb the same emotion from someone else because it's an energetic match, or you can project it on another living thing if you're experiencing it a lot. One thing that I experience with a lot of people is I will encounter empaths and they're like, you look so tired. And I'm always like, really? I feel pretty fantastic. And then I'm very aware that they feel tired a lot in their life, and so it's a projection. We want to be careful with projections, because if we believe that we're absorbing and we're really projecting, then we can find ourselves in a little trap. So how do we figure this out? There's a couple of things that you can do. Is you can sit down with a piece of paper and pencil and write down the feelings you're afraid of feeling. Okay. What are some of the things you're afraid of feeling? Anything?
Disappointment's one of my biggies.
Disappointment.
Oh boy. Loads of disappointment. Definitely.
So you may be afraid of depression or feeling depressed, or you may be afraid of feeling fear, or you may be afraid of feeling disappointment or anxiety, or anger, those types of things. Write those things down, and you'll have a pretty good list of the things that you will typically absorb or project on other people. Once you know what those things are, you get to go in and do the deep dive and find out why you are afraid of anger. If you are afraid of any of those emotions, I promise you those are some of the emotions in your unconscious mind that come to the surface. People that think that empaths do not get angry or feel negative emotion are believing a delusion or an illusion, we could say, because everybody has their shadow side. So think of it this way. You know, you can have those blissful, enlightened moments that are just so magical and spiritual. Think of the exact opposite, which is your shadow side. That's how you're going to feel. So if you feel lots of bliss and happiness and joy and elation, you'll probably have some shadow parts of you that have a lot of anger. And if you're afraid of those things, that's typically what you will tend to absorb or to project on other people. Does this make sense? If there's any questions about this, feel free to ask anything. Jack's keeping his eye. I kind of keep my eye on it. But
someone said, are these practices applicable for youth?
For absolutely.
She's very afraid of anger.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. Which means she's probably a pretty angry person deep down inside. One of the great ways to deal with anger or rage is to write. Every day, take 10 or 15 minutes and write the things that you're frustrated about, and it keeps the anger vibration moving out of the body so it doesn't get stored in the body. When negative emotions get stored in the body, they just build until there's an explosion at some point of some kind. And either you're seriously absorbing a lot from other people or you're projecting a lot and it just gets bigger and bigger. Okay, so this is really helpful. Make a list of the feelings you're afraid of feeling, and then do the deep dive and find out why you feel sad and what you believe about yourself in that sadness. And that's the clearing work you're going to do. When you start to clear these things, you will notice, and it will blow your mind actually, that you begin to absorb less and project a much less on other people.
Okay, what about this?
How to stop projection. Whew, that's an interesting and a little bit of a tricky topic. It comes with practice. The best thing that you can do when you are assuming something about someone is to ask them, do you feel tired today? If they're like, no, not at all, it's like, oh, I must have been projecting my own tiredness. Questions and honestly, that's why we do the table topics, is to help you get comfortable in asking questions. Because when you can really listen to other people and learn more about them, it's easier not to project on them because you're not assuming you know how that person's feeling.
Belinda said, when I get around a happy, energetic, excited person, I get crazy with that energy.
Isn't that interesting?
Because Belinda, you are such a happy, energetic person. I bet you do get like, wah, bouncing off the walls.
Okay, so there's something I'd like to talk to you about that. I'm glad you brought it up, Belinda. Sometimes you can encounter someone that's really bubbly and really happy and absorb the energy, and it can feel like a massive agitation. Has anyone experienced that really bubbly, happy person, and you feel something in your body and you just feel instantly bugged or agitated? I want to talk about why this happens. So anyone that has experienced that, please share. And while we're waiting for your answers, I want to share with you what happens. That vibration, so Elizabeth said yes, Cecilia, yes, sometimes. So why this happens is that when you absorb someone else's vibration into your energy field, it's not going to perfectly match. Now, sometimes you're going to find a great match and you're going to absorb that joy and that happiness. And like me and Belinda, we get it. We know that when, in fact, Belinda cracks me up so much when she says certain things, it just makes me feel super happy because I can feel her energy in my body. And I'm like, come on in, sister, I like this. But sometimes you're going to be like, this person is a idiot. I can't stand this feeling. What's going on?
Oh, sorry. Just go right here.
Oh, and this is the worst feeling and I don't know what it is. And then you can start projecting, oh, they're fake or they're this or they're that. And what you need to realize is more times than not, if you absorb someone's energy, it's not going to match your own energy. So it can feel a little alarming and cause agitation.
And Terry, yes, I want to smack them.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right? Okay. So now I've got my notes here so I don't forget. Really quick, I want to share something about, and this is kind of random, but not really. So I want to share a little bit about depression and a little bit about anxiety, especially if you experience it and you absorb it from other people, or you project it. There's some things I want to tell you about depression and anxiety, because so many people are medicated, and I am not saying anything is wrong with medication for these things, okay? Do not get me wrong. But sometimes people take them and it's not needed, and because people don't understand these two things. And so when you're dealing with your own depression or you're dealing with your own anxiety, and you're like, I really don't want to project this anymore or absorb it anymore, here's what you need to know about these two things. Depression is typically based in the fear of the past being brought to the present. So it means you think a lot about the terrible things that have happened in the past, and then you have this worry and fear that's coming that it's going to come into your present moment. That's where that hopelessness comes from, that self-defeat, like, oh, all these bad things always happen to me, and you project them and you place them right on where you are right now, and that can cause depression like that, okay? It's important for you to know. And then anxiety comes from the fear of what's coming in the future. Many people have depression and anxiety because they're always thinking about the past and the future instead of being right here in the present moment. So those are things I want you to understand. So as you start doing your inner work, that you have this information so you can think, yeah, that's absolutely true. Whenever I get depression, and I get depression sometimes, it's always about how I can never, ever get over this one thing that's been happening my entire life. So I'm thinking about the past.
Okay, Elizabeth said, will you say that again, but slow? Sorry, I'm listening and rejoicing and note-taking, and I'm lagging behind. So just reiterate, anxiety, depression.
Okay, depression is the fear of bringing something, thinking about something in the past and bringing it forward to your present moment.
So it's linking to a feeling of powerlessness.
Powerlessness, that I'm powerless to change this. It's just going to keep happening the way it's always been. Okay. And anxiety is a fear of what is in the future, that you won't have what you want. It's the what if syndrome. Like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And if you have them together, you can think, well, this happened in the past. It's so depressing, and it's going to happen in the future too. And you can have that depression and anxiety going on all at the same time. If you can get yourself in the present moment and do something joyful right now, not thinking about what's coming, not thinking about what's been, because you know what? The only thing that exists is right now. The past is done and over, and the future hasn't even happened yet. So all you have is this very moment. And if you can do those joyful things in this very moment, then it makes it easier for you to go into your clearing processes here so that you can begin to absorb less and you can begin to project less as well. Okay? Listen to this live again, because this is kind of mind-bending information where it's like, whoa, that makes total sense. What was that again? Because it's not something that's talked about too much, okay? That was kind of a side note, but I'm like, depression and anxiety is such a big thing for empaths. It really, really has to be talked about. Okay, so let me look over here and see what my notes are telling me. Okay, so there are times that you're going to pick up something you're not going to recognize. So how do we recognize it? And it's very simple. When you're feeling totally like yourself, totally normal, even feeling fantastic, and abruptly you feel this huge shift, you're like, boom, all of a sudden I feel hopeless. That is when you've absorbed something, and you can absorb it from objects or people. There's something that's left behind from other human beings called an energy strand. And so you could be going to the doctor's office and feel fantastic when you walk in, sit on the couch, and all of a sudden feel like your marriage is over. And you're like, whoa, what? Where did that come from? And that just means you've absorbed someone's energy. So what do we do? I want to talk to you about things to do when you do absorb other people's energy and how to prevent as much as possible. Okay. Perfect prevention does not exist. There's not a perfect science. Every now and then, no matter how good you get at being an empowered empath, you're going to absorb some stuff. It just is part of this human condition and being an empath. Good management is where it is at. So like I said, do your inner work, because the more inner work and clearing you do, you are going to absorb and project less. And then shield yourself morning and night. If you don't know how to shield, on the Connected Empath in the guides, I have a little training video that teaches you how to shield, called Shield Like a Rock Star. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, rock star or superstar, one of the two.
Right? So go and watch that and shield morning and night. Okay? And then what else can we do? Number one, after you shield, is accept how you're feeling. Accept the fact that you just absorbed someone's shit. And it can make you mad. It can be like, what? You can feel like a victim. And you just kind of have to accept all that. And it's like, okay, I've absorbed some stuff. I forgot to shield this morning. Do you know how many times I forget to shield? And I teach this stuff all day, every day. And I feel like sometimes slapping my own face. I'm like, wow, like, get it together. But it's, like I said, it's not a perfect science. Remember as much as possible, but if you end up absorbing, then you have to say, ooh, I just picked up someone's stuff. What can I do about it? So here's a few things that are just pretty simple. You can get out into nature, okay? Just go outside. If you can, take your shoes off and put your feet on the grass. The negative ions in the earth will drain and pull that energy right out of you in a very short period of time. If you're not completely sure that you have absorbed someone's energy, move about 20 feet away from them. And if you begin to feel it lightening, you know that you have absorbed. Okay, so get outside. Rest. That's why Jack and I are always saying you have to rest every day, at least a little bit, so that you can recharge. Because if you're out in the world and you're walking around, and you're engaging with other people and you're going to different places, you're going to pick up a little bit of something somewhere. And that just means that part of your life being designed to accompany your sensitivity means you have to get your rest each day. And sometimes that's a little nappy, or sometimes it's just going to the restroom, sitting on the pot, and just taking a couple minutes and saying to yourself, this is not mine. I'm commanding it to leave now. With conviction. Now, keep in mind, commanding and demanding are two different things. Demanding is more of the aggressive way of saying, you have to leave right now, and it's kind of based in scarcity. If you command something to leave, you're standing in your personal power and saying, this is not mine. I will release this now. It's two different vibrations. So be very commanding about it. Say, this is not mine. You have to leave now. I'm releasing this right now. Does that make sense to everybody? Hi, Celeste. So glad to see you. Okay. Rest, get out into nature. And then the most important thing, honestly, is know that it will pass. Right?
Yeah, you're really good at talking about basically helping you get out of resistance. The minute you get all tied up in knots about it, you're just holding on to it.
Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to go over those really quick. Do your inner work so you don't project as much and you don't absorb as much. It just gets better and better over time. Make sure that you're shielding morning and night. If you do not know how to shield, you can always go to the Connected Empath and go to guides and watch my training video that tells you how to shield like a rock star. Accept how you're feeling, accept that you've absorbed something, and then get your rest, get out into nature, and command that energy to move from your body. And then just know it will always pass. There you have it, my friends.
That was fantastic. Elizabeth said it's so important, and I don't think we really understand the value of the midday rest.
Oh, yes. I agree with you, my
lots
friend.
of rest. Put your feet up. Be gracious with yourself. It's your job, first and foremost.
Our oldest daughter called us yesterday, and she was feeling very drained. All of our children are highly sensitive. So we have 5 children that are empaths and one that's just HSP. And she called on her lunch break, and she was sitting on the grass.
Like a good girl.
Yep. Kind of draining out the energies. She can go back into work. So no matter where you are, there's something that you can do. Even if you sit in your car just for a moment and command that energy to leave your body. Remember, you are here to be an empowered empath, not a victim. It's not that the world's happening to you, that life's happening to you. It's happening for you. And if you can change that in your brain just a little, to realize that everything's happening for you instead of to you, right there, you're going to start living a more empowered life as an empath.
Okay, will you answer one more question?
Sure.
Because I think it's important for you to speak to.
Sure.
Dave said, it makes absolute sense, Tiff, but is there merit in absorbing someone's negativity and expelling it for them, basically? Do you or do you not agree?
Okay, very good question and a very deep question. I do not believe in order to be a healer and I hope I'm answering your question, Dave. You may have to clarify, but I think this is what you're asking. I do not believe and I do not teach that you have to absorb someone's energy to be the healer that you are. I believe that you can observe with compassion without absorption. And that means that I would lend more on teaching people boundaries and very specific life skills to be an empowered empath, as to not absorb other people's energy, but to know that the universe and God has their back, that everyone is being taken care of. And as a healer, you can love and assist with compassion and not absorption. Did I answer your question, Dave? Let me know if that is like...
And then Mandy said, my biggest struggle is knowing if it's mine or someone else's physical pain or emotions. Did you speak to physical?
No, because physical empaths are different than emotional empaths. That's a totally different topic. That being said, I can say you have to do the very same things when you're absorbing physically. Physical empaths are empaths that absorb other people's physical symptoms, and they're typically hands-on healers, or what is the term for healers that can see people's illnesses?
Medical intuitive.
Yes. Since I am one, I should know the name of it. Yeah, they're typically medical intuitives that are here to help people heal. And you have to get very good at shielding yourself and clearing your energy often, especially when you're doing hands-on healing. So it's a different topic, but it's the same. You do the same things to get that out of the body as well.
And Elizabeth, the video that she's talking, the shielding video, is in the Connected Empath Facebook group under the guides section. Just right at the top, you'll see guides, announcements, things like that. Click on guides, and then you'll go down to the training videos, and you'll see one that says shield like a rock star, or it's either rock star or superstar.
Yeah.
Shield like a star.
Dave, I just want to address this again. You said, yes, I still feel the need on occasion to lighten the load of a friend. That is totally cool. The only problem we run into is if you feel like you have to experience their pain in order to help them. If you choose to opt in to feel their feelings, to really share the burden with them, make sure that you are completely recharged to be able to do that. Jack and I oftentimes in our practice, especially with our private clients, when we see them in person, there are times myself that I sit in the energy with my client as a connective place, but I only do that when I feel completely recharged to do so. Otherwise, it will drain me too much, and I'll typically feel sick for a couple of days. And you have to be the perfect judge of that for yourself, because no one can really tell you that. But for most of the time, when you're just out and about living life and you're around other people, I always teach our students and private clients to heal through compassion instead of absorption. And it takes a little bit of practice. We're not They do say from an energy level that we empaths have porous energy fields, so that's why things get in the first place. That's why we have you shield, and it just takes a lot of practice, and we're here to help you. That's why we have our program in the first place, is to teach you all the ins and outs, everyone, for being that amazing empath and that gifted creature that you are. And you are the healers of the world. Without you, we would not have the healing that we need on this planet.
That's right. That's why we do what we do, and to support you in what you do. And if, like I said, come join us in the Connected Empath Facebook group if you aren't already. If you are there, thank you. Invite your friends. That's the only way that we can support empaths the worldwide, is if you will assist us, and thank you for sharing this. It means everything to us.
And Dave, thank you so much for your questions. And I think I put this on a post in the Connected Empath. We really appreciate men that are brave and willing to share that they're an empath, because oftentimes in the world, men are taught that it's not okay to be sensitive to things or to feel deeply, because they're supposed to be those strong guys that don't feel their emotions. And it takes a really brave and courageous guy to step up and say, I'm a total empath and I'm here as a healer. And so we love when we have our men come into the Connected Empath, because we're all healers together, everyone alike. So we're so glad that you're here, and we would not have a job and we would not have this beautiful life that we have without all of you. So thank you so much for being here. And I love your answers, and I love to connect. I love to see your faces every week and in the Connected Empath. You're just such amazing people. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Remember that you matter.
Oh, yes, you do.
The way you are is right.
Yep.
You're here for a reason, doing the work and being the person that you're being. And it's never going to be perfect, and nothing is as messy as it looks. Just keep that in mind. And eat dessert first, because why the hell not?
Because life is meant to be devoured.
We're Tiff and Jack. We'll be back.
Bye.